All right, we would like to start off by giving all honor and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kabudash.
a double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops and great millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. All right, we are at GMS Mississippi Camp. All right, I'm going to give the floor over to Priest Abaya.
Right, Khan. Yeah, so today's topic is actually going into the Notebook and spiritual dementia. Now, you've seen that movie, The Notebook. It's actually about a love story, okay, about this aged couple, all right? And as the wife or the female got old, what happened? She got dementia. So every day, her husband would go into the nursing home and read this notebook. Now, what was contained in the notebook was their love story. So he was reading this notebook to her every day to assist her with getting her memory back. Now, towards the end of the movie, what happened? She did get her memory back. I'm going to leave it at that. So this lesson is actually symbolic for us, all right? Because according to Jeremiah 6:2, get that book, you know, we are the woman of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, okay? Get Jeremiah 6:2. Yeah.
It's Jeremiah 6:2.
Right.
I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
Right. The daughter of Zion is also known as what? The nation of Israel. Symbolic talk. So we are likened, all right? We are just like a beautiful woman to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, again with the elect. All right. Now, the notebook is what? For this lesson, symbolic for the Holy Scriptures. Somebody get Revelation 10:8. Okay.
Revelation 10:8.
Yeah, Revelation 10:8.
All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book."
Take the little book. What's the little book? The Holy Scriptures. The notebook. That spiritual notebook. All right, so the Most High utilized the Scriptures, our notebook, to do what? To get us out of that demented state. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And it says, and he said, so like it said, "Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth."
Mm-hmm. That's it. So, key point, that little book. Now, brother, get dementia.
It's dementia from Edinburgh Online. It says extremely low condition of mental function.
Right, extremely low condition of a mental functioning. All right. Now, when you go into that origin of dementia, it means to be away from your mind. All right. From a spiritual standpoint, the Most High gave us that spiritual dementia. Why? Because we went off. All right. And we needed this notebook. All right. In order to remember ourselves. Okay. You got to preserve.
Jeremiah 17:4. "And thou, even thyself, should discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee."
Us as a nation, even the prophets. So we had to disconnect from what? Our heritage. All right, go ahead.
"And I will cause thee to serve the enemies in the land which thou knowest not."
And this is a form of what? Spiritual dementia. Okay, now since you said that there, can I get something else? Get Joel 2:21.
It's the book of Joel 2, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice."
No, it's like my bad. Jeremiah 2:21. Sorry, that's my bad.
It's Jeremiah 2:21.
Right.
And it says, "Yet I have planted thee a noble vine."
So our entire nation was planted to be the righteous. All right, but at this time frame, only the elect. Go ahead.
"Holy, a right seed."
Holy, a right seed. Go ahead.
"How there art thou turned into the degenerate plant."
Degenerate plant. All right. What happened? We received what? That spiritual dementia. The Most High gave us a diagnosis of spiritual dementia. Okay. Now, when you go into that term degenerate, according to the etymon, it also means to be away from your birth. All right. To fall from your ancestral lineage, as well as to be unlike one's race or kind. Now, the Most High programmed us, all right, to be what? Kings and priests and things of that nature. But we had to be humble, all right? We had to understand the left hand and we had to understand the right hand in order to be that complete judge. And we had to go through this concept of spiritual dementia in order to do so. All right? Go ahead.
This is on Lamentations chapter 4,
break it down.
verse 1. It says, how has the gold become dim? How has the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how they are esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter. So the men of Israel, at one time were the most valuable men on the earth, man. Because you think about, all the things that we brought, to the earth, even going back, to Adam, the sons of God. He named all the animals. There was, order, even going back to Abraham, what they call them, the shepherd kings. They pretty much brought, agriculture, to these different dynasties, man.
Yeah, the so-called Hyksos.
Yeah.
Went into Egypt.
Yeah, so they were very precious. That's a valuable thing. So the sons of Israel, the sons of God, were very valuable in the earth. But now you look at us today, overall, you look at our people getting with the men, they're dim. Jake can barely change the tire. Jake is degenerate. You see? But that goes to what? That spiritual dimension. We were detached from their legacy of greatness, through, a process of prophecy, man.
I got a quick one too. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
Break it down.
Now you go into the word heritage, all right, it ultimately goes back to the word heir. Just how an heir will inherit an estate from his father, all right, we are heirs to our laws, statutes, and commandments. So a heritage is really customs passed down from your forefathers. Going back to degenerate, deviating from or straying from the ways of your ancestors. All right, we've strayed from the laws, statutes, and commandments of our ancestors. So when we came over here to America, all right, we forgot our customs, our traditions, our laws that upheld us as a people, man. And when I say we, I have to expand the southern and the northern kingdoms, right? Because the northern kingdom came over here to keep the laws, but they degenerated.
That's right.
They degenerated from the laws of the Most High too.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they weren't like that during the time of King Solomon.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
But just to land back, us discontinuing from our heritage, like the Zaquan was going into, it's not just us discontinuing from the land. Because No Class Malone said that basically the heritage, just talking about our inheritance, the land. Well, you can't separate the people not only from the land without separating them from their culture too.
Well, that's if I can just add right quick. That's why they have parades in America. African Heritage Parade, a Puerto Rican Heritage Parade, celebrating different. They're here in America. They're not in their land. But what is it they're celebrating? Their way. Their way. So they have the uniforms of their forefathers. They'll play the music that their forefathers played, man.
They all got those different banners, those flags.
Yes, those different flags. That's what a heritage is. It's not really a land per se. It's the customs of other people, man.
Right.
Which goes into that term spiritual dementia.
Yeah.
Because, from a spiritual standpoint, we became demented away from our mind, but it was manifested within the flesh. We became Negroes, Hispanics, all right, North American Indians, all right, and we believed in everything this so-called white man gave us through the ways of his philosophies, man. We were indoctrinated. And there's more proof on how further we became separated from our heritage.
I got a quick to prove the same point. This is Deuteronomy 6:1. It says, now these are the commandments, the statutes and judgments which the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, your power commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither you go to possess it, that thou mightest fear the Lord Yahweh, thy power, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee.
If I could just add, and that's how you walk with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. When it talks about, since we're on that, and get Genesis 5:24. How did Enoch walk with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua? And most importantly, how did Yahushua walk with his father Yahweh? Read that back, bro.
And it says that thou mightest fear the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, thy power, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged.
So when you do this through that process of passing on from your son to his sons, this is setting up what? Our customs, setting up our culture.
That's your heritage.
Which is our heritage, man.
Heritage goes back to inheritance. You're inheriting the customs of your ancestors.
Not only the land.
Not only the land, man.
Hey, bro, that's real generational wealth.
That's
real
generational
man. Your ways, man.
That's why even amongst our brother Gad, they have elders amongst their people.
Right.
And they'll tell you, man, that their elder is like a reservoir of wealth, of knowledge. Just imagine thousands of years of information. That's how those gurus over there in India, they know so much about herbs. They got thousands of years of information about the earth being passed down from descendant to descendant, man.
It's like form of circulation.
Form of circulation, man.
Called the medicine men.
The medicine men. You know?
It's put up on Genesis 5:24.
And it's Genesis 5:24. And Enoch walked with the Most High.
And the brother Yash just gave you an example, all right, which is actually going into a mannerism of life. Your code of conduct. Your code of conduct. Man. Go ahead, bro.
He was not, for the Most High took him.
All right, Zaki's on you, bro.
Bible shot real quick. Can you get 10 to 12?
Did you do Deuteronomy? Deuteronomy 10, 12.
Yeah, get it for the brother.
Come.
You can break it down, Elder.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And it says, and now Israel, what doth the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai thy power require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Right. So I mean, just laying back, and I mean, that's it. So he's self-explanatory, walking in his ways, man. And this was before the flood era, you know, because it was passed down orally, man. They showed you that, and you know, the documentary we had watched, you know, the Days of Noah, part 1, the flood. You know, everyone basically knew about the commandments. They had knowledge of it, you know. But the sons of God are the ones that kept it.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
But dealing with the topic about spiritual notebook, real quick, I'm gonna get Baruch 2 and 30. Want to get it? You get it? I get it.
Break it down.
All right.
You can break it down.
All right. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
And that's what that's what we're doing today. Cause we're still in our land. We still in our captivity. In the land which how about shot scatters us to. So now we are remembering ourselves. We going and how we remember ourselves. Start with the apostles and elders GMS that taught us. You know, we didn't know nothing about nothing. But you know, it's all through spirit Yahweh that stuck with us, you know, to learn the name. It gonna say it. When you read the name.
All right. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am Yahweh with their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me.
If I could just add, and that's what was so incredible about the notebook. That lady, all right, started to remember herself the more her husband will read the notebook to her. And it's the same thing. Once you have been enlightened by the word, we start to remember ourselves more and more and more. All right, that's still hardness. What is that? That's really going into that spiritual dimension. All right, because if you're still hardened, but you're hard-headed. But the reason why you're hard-headed, why? Because you don't really know who you are prior to you being enlightened.
Like make a point, preach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's like suffering from amnesia. You know, you suffer from amnesia. You know, you black out, then you wake up and you forget everything. You know, you maybe, or in the case of us being the Lord's bride, you know, we forgot our husband's name.
That's it.
Yeah, you know,
And when you got dementia or you know, Alzheimer's or amnesia, what do the doctors do to try to get that memory back? They put you in a familiar set, you know, somewhere you haven't been before, you know, to try to, you know, revamp that memory. That's why when you read the scriptures, you're really coming familiar. Like, these men act like our people. Like the men in the Bible, they act like our people. Like when they said, "Well, Yahweh shot," oh, that's Joseph's son. You know, that's how Jacob. Yeah, that's something Jacob say.
Yeah.
You know.
Or even when they mock your house, I'm like, it's like prophesy who slapped you.
Yeah.
I saw that BNJ.
Yeah.
You know?
So you see the characters in the Bible, and you seeing like what Caiaphas say, look, if this man, if they believe on him, the Romans gonna come take away our place. And you can see T.D. Jakes and these guys that have these status, Creflo Dollar, you can see him saying that they believe on these little kids on the corner, you know, the Romans or the higher ups, the government gonna come take our place.
That's it.
You know?
And the Most High is so cold because we broke the law, statutes, and the commandments. Hey, can I get Deuteronomy? Hey, get Deuteronomy 28 and 15, bro. Because Deuteronomy 28 and 15 brought what? Brought Jeremiah 17 to forth. Now, if you know anything about dementia, what happens? First and foremost, the short-term memory leaves. So how did the Most High strike us by removing us from that land? Then your long-term memory go. So as we became scattered throughout the four corners of the world, we became indoctrinated by these other nations, and we lost our fucking long-term memory, the names, all right, who we are, you know, and things of that nature. So it started with the short-term memory, and then it led into the long-term memory, spiritual dementia, man.
And that's why the scriptures are very repetitive too. You know, we go and a lot of stuff repetitive too. Scripture, like it might say something here, but it might go chat over, might go say the same thing over and over.
You know why?
Very repetitive.
Because the Most High is trying to condition us, you know, reprogram us.
Yeah.
That's why you do it over and over and over. Because what is repetition? Like the Apostle of the Bar break down, father of skill.
It's like learning how to walk again.
Yeah.
You know, somebody learn how to walk, you got to practice every day.
That's it.
Every day, man.
That's it.
It's repetition.
That's like it's like a right hand spiritual brainwashing.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying? Like Esau do it on the left hand side to get the people to follow his agenda.
Mhm.
That's what Yahweh try to do it to us on the right hand side.
I mean, they're like, would you be going to
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra.
You shot it.
Control.
Yeah. Because really, like, that slavery was so traumatic. Like, it shattered out.
Our brain.
Yeah.
Our mind.
Trauma. It's
Our
trauma.
mind, yeah.
And then the Most High started putting them pieces back together how he wanted to. They were like a righteous MK Ultra.
Most I see gonna rule us like an enemy. You know, that rule go to that generational trauma.
And you know, if I could just make this quick point, you know, like when you have that trauma, right? Some like dementia, sometimes you're there, sometimes you're not. Like you could tell this to your people. Sometimes when people be like, yeah, I know we're the chosen.
Yeah.
You know, I know Jesus is black.
That's right.
But then they turn around and go to church. It's like they be in and out of it. You know what I mean? Blacking out.
They forget about the scripture. That's the short-term memory. Just like that.
That's real quick. This proves the righteous MK Ultra. It's Hosea 6:1. Come and let us return unto the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai, for he hath torn and he will heal us.
Ooh.
He hath smitten and he will bind us up.
Torn, healed, smitten, and bind us up. Like the brother said, that's putting our minds back together from that emotional trauma, man.
Dry bones, man.
That fractured state.
That fractured state, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. No, because when your mind is fractured, it's like a shattered glass.
Yeah.
When you put the glass back together, you see your reflection. You know?
And see, through MK Ultra, that's how Esau programs these different personalities.
Yep.
You know, he breaks your mind, then he programmed that piece to act like this. He programmed that piece to act like that.
Okay,
that's why you have that split personality.
Yeah, them alter egos.
Them alter egos.
He has trigger words too.
That's right, bro.
I
Get your dad, because I'm gonna go back to yours.
I'll jump to this Isaiah 3:8, and it says, "For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen."
Because I want to break it down, jump in.
You know, as it says in Jeremiah 50, the children of Judah, children of Israel should, suffer oppression together. You know what I'm saying? Linking up with biblical prophecies. You think about, I did a video a while back on my health channel. It was going to like the health benefits of music, and they were showing like people who had Alzheimer's and how it was a doctor pretty much he was promoting about playing violins into the hospital, and that's how the Most High did us through the Spirit, man. We started hearing that beautiful music, you know, this new song, going to this truth, and the more you start hearing that beautiful song, the more you start coming to more remembrance.
It's spiritual too, because Esau knew when he fractured our minds and when he broke us as a people. You know, he did a similar thing, but to grow us off. You know, with the the rap music, you know, gangster rap in particular, you know, putting out certain wicked vibrations. Recently, the other brother Yashwamba, he had did a vid showing how Thug and Diva basically go back to, you know, Hindu culture, you know, certain Eastern cultures. And that's the vibe they put on Jake. You know, what the Lord did with us with the new song, he got us out of it.
That's right, man.
And who came up with that fucking thug shit? The father of all black culture, Tupac.
Which was going back to that definition, that word, was it the book of Isaiah?
What's that?
Like how they have cast nets in front of us.
That's right. Oh,
But if you go into the word nets, it was leaders set up for you to fall.
That's it.
You know, and Tupac is one of those nets.
Yeah, and the music is a big part of it.
Yep.
You know, because a point you had made a while back, that one movie, Lords of Salem, how they was playing that demonic music, and, you know, caused all the women to act crazy.
Every time they play this particular song, all the women of Salem would be enchanted. They'd be under a spell.
And where did they get this concept from? When King Saul when King David utilized the harp to remove that evil spirit from Saul.
Mm-hmm.
Now Esau is witty enough to understand that, okay, now if music can take demons off people, then it can place demons on people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why this music is so demonic and perverted.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to this for you. And,
All right.
I got something else too. All right, back in Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30 again. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Well, I'm gonna just read this. I'm gonna get definition. All right, this is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both of which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. Now, for that word stir up, those words stir up.
1326.
All right, now it means to wake up, awaken, arouse from sleep.
Out of that spiritual dementia state. Remember, dementia means to be away from your mind. So once you wake back up, you're back in that right mindset. Go ahead, brother.
Isaiah 52:1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments.
What's the strength? What's the beautiful garments? It's holy truth. All right, and it's white. Go ahead.
O Jerusalem, the holy city.
Which also, for all these dum-dums, which is also nothing but symbolic talk for purity.
The holy city, from henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and unclean.
Right, but it starts with the process of being born again. And the reason why the notebook was open, why? The Revelation 5:5.
It says awake, awake. To say it twice. That's with the urgency.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the sentence, the Most High sent this to a penal colony. He sent all 12 tribes to a penal colony. A penal colony is where a group of people go to serve out a prison sentence. But now that he's about to free you, he's about to destroy that penal colony. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's like awake, awake, remember who you are. Mm-hmm. But like that first Egypt, now you got to leave in haste. In the spirit, you have to leave.
And when you say awake, awake, like the brother Yasha said, when you waking somebody, you're like, awake, awake.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't like, hey, awake.
Yeah, ain't awake.
Wait, no, it's a sense of urgency.
Yeah. You agitate.
Yeah. Get that Revelation 5:5. That makes sense.
Like this Revelation 5:5. And one of the elders said to me, weep not, behold, the line of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
The book again, this notebook. All right. And the reason why, because Yahweh Shai, became that beautiful ultimate sacrifice. And guess what? Within this protocol, the scriptures was open. All right. And then because of the scriptures being open, what happened? The spiritual dementia left because we were able to remember ourselves, man. Going back into what you just brought up, awake, awake. But it started with this concept. Yahweh Shai had to do his duty, and therefore the Holy Spirit was actually released from the spiritual world, man. Okay.
That's why that movie, Lion King, was so. What's the name? Rafiki. What's the name?
Rafiki.
Yeah. He hit him in the head. Yeah. He had to. Wake your ass up. What's wrong with you?
So let me ask you a question. When you hear any dust come on? Well, if it didn't, because once you hit somebody, you come out that confused state. Confusion is the dust. All right, the dust is what? Spiritual dementia.
And that staff represents the scriptures.
Yeah. Our rod and our staff shall come.
Yeah.
Like,
Then look what symbol was it? He was amongst the beasts in the wild.
He was a Gentile.
Wild olive branch.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And then what was the way of the heathen? with
Oh yeah, you know, unclean food.
Hakuna Matata. It means no word.
Yeah.
That YOLO spirit.
Do what I will.
Yep.
And then, because what did King David say? I was like a beast before thee.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Go back to Isaiah 52:2. It says, "Shake thyself in the dust."
Mhm.
You know, go into that state of confusion.
Right.
What
Because when you're dementia, oh my bad.
I was gonna say Mufasa said, remember who you are.
Yeah.
It's Father.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. When you're actually spiritual demented, you're confused. You know, you don't know who you are. You don't remember nothing. You don't remember nothing from the short term. You don't remember nothing from the long term. Us being Israelites, because of this confusion, this dust. But Yahushua was their spiritual pledge that wiped our minds clean, got that dust off our mindset. Okay. Y'all got,
Yeah, well, just back in the definitions for stir up. I'm just read the rest of them. Now it says of the sea which begins to be agitated to rise. That says a metaphor to arouse the mind, stir up, render active.
Can I get one point? You said what aroused the mind, right? Get 2 Peter 1:19, bro. You can break it down. That day star, man.
Hey, because something aroused in us that made us change our whole life, man. You know, that was a like they say, it was a game changer, man. The Holy Spirit was a game changer for the elect, man. You see, it changed our whole outlook on everything, man. You got it, bro.
2 Peter 1:19.
2 Peter 1:19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereunto ye do well that ye take heed as unto a light that shine in the dark.
And say we have a more sure word of prophecy, because now everything that's in the book is now in place. Because even back then when you had the New Testament being, scribed, all right, those epistles being wrote, all right, they didn't know about the RFID technology. They didn't know about the arrows in Jeremiah. They didn't know what that meant. You see, there was a lot of things, the Revelation 17, 18, they didn't have the full breakdown. And now we got a sure word of prophecy, man. And we've been aroused in these times, man. You see?
And shining in dark places until the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart.
Go ahead.
You got it.
Read that last definition, bro. Hey, go back.
All right, now back in stir up for 2 Peter 3:1. All right, now last two it says to arouse the mind, stir up, render active.
To arouse the mind, stir up, render active. Now read that 1:19 towards the latter. Yeah, go ahead.
But take heed
Whereunto, sorry.
whereunto ye do well that you take heed as unto a light that shine in that dark place.
The dark place is your mindset because of this spiritual dementia. The light is who? Yahushua, also known as the day star. And what does the day star do? It brings light. So Yahushua brought light to the hopeful elect. Man, this thing is real. Tell me this thing is real, man.
Hey, it's like he said, like in the beginning, let there be light. He took it back to the beginning, man. Let there be light in darkness, man.
Yep.
And guess what? When our grandmother had dementia, guess what the doctor said? When they looked at her brain, it's like a room without any lights. Now Yahushua came and gave us that spiritual light, and we have been enlightened, and now we are out of that confused state of spiritual dementia. Just like that.
And going back to the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that chemical Genesis, word Genesis means beginning. And when Caesar was locked up with the rest of the apes while they was asleep, he unleashed that chemical, it came out. That spiritual inspiration came out upon those apes. When they woke up the next morning, it was in a whole different mindset.
The spirit, because the elder brother R1 for Alabama camp, he was doing the vid going into the perfecting of the elect. I forget the title of the video. It was going to how, basically Lord started us off with just the seed, which is the word, but that's our beginning. So your foundation, and we're going to be finished, when the Lord comes. but it all started with the seed. You know?
So I got Malachi.
Okay, well,
Y'all know, but I got this already. Malachi 3:16. Then they that fear Yahweh spake often one to another, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him.
a book of remembrance, the
Yeah.
notebook. Who's the woman? The hopeful elect. All right? Because at the end of the day, it's about the hopeful elect. And then the 2/3, they come later in the kingdom of heaven. Only the hopeful elect will actually receive this engrafted word. Point blank, period. All right? This is the only sector out of the nation of Israel that would come out of that spiritual dimension, man. Go ahead, bro.
And a book of remembrance was written before him for them.
So, because of this notebook, this book of remembrance, what happened? Through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shai, we regain our short-term memory and we regain our long-term memory.
All right. For them that fear Yahweh, and that thought upon his name.
And it goes back to Baruch chapter 2.
In the land of their captivity, see, they remember themselves and think upon his name.
Think upon that name. And it shows you that the name is key.
That's
It's
a lot. I'm sorry, brother.
Now, I'm just saying the name is key because, a part of us remembering ourselves is us remembering our power.
And it's like that righteous MK Ultra. It's that trigger word. When the brother first broke down the word Yahweh Bashim Hawashadami, that was my foundation. That was the beginning phase of waking up from that dementia. Like you go into the movie Manchurian Candidate. They go into them some buzzwords, but there's a righteous wake up from that spell. That's the name Yahweh Bashim Hawashadami.
Like they show Al Roker, they said Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That trigger word.
Yeah, the eyes all bugging out. But that shows you that the true understanding is coming now, because no other philosophy ever did this, man. Actually show our people who they really are. You got guys like what's the dude, Louis Farrakhan, which he sold out a long time ago. But he said many times in certain of his speeches that we are the Israelites. But he'll tiptoe around it, man. He'll be like, well, where is it in the book? Who the people of the book? But you're only gonna get it, through the spirit from the prophets, man.
And going back to that covering cast that the brothers brought out, there's this documentary called White Jesus, Racism in the Church of America. And it has this, good and bad. But they basically broke down, like the elders were breaking down, that Esau came up with the concept of race. So part of discontinuing from our heritage was to go from identifying people by their country of origin to identify them by characteristics, physical characteristics. So the white, black, yellow, red, there was a stumbling block to where we came from to.
It shows that it's part of that covering.
That covering cast. Well,
That's right.
And because what's like Job 9:24, where it speaks about how Esau covers the faces of the judges. Now we know it goes to iconoclasm, but also he did it in the spirit. He like putting it up those other coverings over us.
Black, white, red.
This book of Psalm 40:2, it says, he brought me up also out of horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. And he had put a new song in my mouth.
And that pit go back to what this sisters, right? And that miry clay, really much. This the end of what the 10 toes, mixed with iron and miry clay. So it tell you the time frame, the system of this beast system, that he will lift us up and put us on that rock, which is who? Yahweh Shai. And then read it again.
He brought me up also, verse 1. A son of David, I waited patiently for Yahweh Bashim Shai, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry.
Yeah, he finally heard the cries of the elect. Because you had Elder Abba Bibbies, they was, because you had the different Jake that was into the Torah. So they were seeking Yahweh Bashim Shai, but see, eventually the Lord responded and gave his spirit to Elder Abba Bibbies, man, to go into Yahweh Shai. You see?
Verse 2. He brought me up also out of horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock.
Yeah, so the system, all right, the horrible pit, this is a horrible system. Right? That's why even Elder Apostle Ariomla did a video like you know, the longer we here, you're going to increase in sorrow, man, because this is a horrible system, man. And we learn more and more, increasing understanding, but we still here, you know? So we're in a horrible system.
Yeah. Then, hey, Dick Clay again, just to add on to the brother, it's also a representation for what? Their debt.
Yeah.
Their debt.
And they just asked, you know, to raise the debt ceiling, man. You know, go ahead.
We should let you know that we enslaved.
That's it. That's it.
Dead slaves. And it says, and set my feet upon a rock and establish my goings. And he had put a new song in my mouth.
Woo! On your house shot, which established what? Our goings. Now, brothers go to camp, brothers do lessons, brothers research, brothers fellowship. Because why? We found on that rock at y'all shot. Now our goings is established.
Right? Question. So where do we get the song from?
From scripture.
The notebook.
Yep, the notebook. Yep. That's the lyrics.
That's the hook right there.
Link that up, y'all. It's Revelation 14:2. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung it as with a new song before the throne.
Yep.
And before the fourth beast and the elders, and no man could learn their song.
The song is new. It's just been afresh. Like Kainos. It's the same song, man. One truth, one faith, one baptism.
And no man could learn their song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
And these men have been redeemed, and therefore they are out of that spiritual dimension.
And that proves that the song isn't new, because they had it since the beginning.
Amen.
You know,
What it said, Enoch prophesied of your house shot. You know,
10,000 of the saints.
yeah.
It's an angel.
Coming, man.
This is Ezekiel 37
And I want to break this down too.
and 4. And again, he said to me, prophesy upon these bones. And he said to them, O you dry bones, hear the word of the Most High. Verse 5.
Right, which is our people. Going back to the brothers reading Lamentations, the 4th chapter. You know, how did the fine gold become dim in earthen pictures? Us being this dehydrated estate, man. You know, without the truth.
That's right.
You know, you got it.
Verse 5. That said, Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter in you, and you shall live.
Yeah, and we have it now. That's the Holy Spirit. You know, and we know that this is happening because, you know, the same thing is written in Revelation, the 11th chapter. You know, the spirit of life from the Most High. And the only way we can receive this is by what Yahweh Shai did for us. That's how we have the notebook, man. You know what I'm saying? Now the vision is open. You know what I'm saying?
Now we're moving with a purpose. Because someone with dementia, they can't live a profitable life. You can't trust them to do no job, carry out tests. You know, they just here, coming and going. Just like, you know, the majority of the people on earth, especially the tribes, man, they just here coming and going. You know, so their breath of life, you know, they attached us back to a pure mind. Now we have a true purpose, man.
That's right. And get Ecclesiastes 38:1.
That's what Akil Pac said on one of his interviews. He was like, "Man, black people, shit, we really just existed. It's like something like on I guess the hierarchy of different people. It was like, well, black people, we just don't have a purpose here. We just existed, you know, which really was the 12 tribes. Yeah, you know." It goes to show you like this is really a matrix.
Yeah. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 1. It says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him for the
First
Lord.
and foremost, this is actually talking about a physical physician. All right, go ahead, bro.
It says, for the Lord hath created him, for of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king.
Right, so of the Most High of the Most High comes what? Healing. All right, now, for this video, the Most High was what? Our physician. And who was the balm? Yahweh Shai. All right, now, if you know anything about dementia, they have to receive arrow subs. It just slows down the process. So Yahweh Shai was more than our spiritual arrow sub. He was actually that healing balm. Okay, and because we received that healing balm, which is Yahweh Shai from Yahweh, we became born again and came out of that state of spiritual dementia.
And We say Malachi, when Yahushua turns, he returns back, he shall come with him.
Oh my God, you gotta get there. Look it up.
Hey, well, before we get there, I gotta
You got
get a scripture for your scripture. All right, Sirach 25. Okay, come. All right. Sirach 25:13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Now the heart is your mind.
That's right.
So that dementia, all right, us not remembering our heritage and where we came from, that was a plague of the mind.
Remember 28:28. It's just like you with madness and blindness. How we gonna be groping in noonday?
Yeah, how you gonna grope in a noonday and it's full of light outside? It's spiritual.
Yep.
You looking for the truth. You trying to figure out where you came from.
You dark up here.
You dark up, no light.
Yep. Because they're going into like because Brother Quar Mock made a beautiful point. I listened to his video this morning because he was like, it don't matter your physical attributes or what you have, but once your mind go, you gone. You can be a billionaire.
Yeah.
But if your mind go, you gone. You can be a black belt jiu-jitsu. You can have all these different, weaponry and all these different things, but if your mind gone, they don't mean nothing no more. So like that's why Yahweh Shema Shah, said wisdom and knowledge gonna be the stability. You talking about your mind. Because we finna see a lot of people bug out that's been prepping carnally, but they ain't been prepping in the spirit. So they gonna lose their mind. So it ain't gonna matter what they done prep.
That's right.
Yeah, you got you done prepped all this food, but you can't even remember where you stayed.
Right.
Damn.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. But it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, which healeth all things.
Yeah, because even like, you hear now what's cool amongst Jake now, what's trending now is our people getting therapy. But if you don't get a therapy according to this word, you're not going to be healed. Because the therapies of this society, they can only tell you external things and things of this lifetime, that has you like that. But see, it's a spiritual root to our problem, man. Yeah.
And we've done all the physical and economical and the mental things. What we hear based on a spiritual offense.
Yeah.
And they're gonna give you medicine for depression.
Put more demons around there.
There you go. They take this
The same people continue to go back to see the same girls, and all they do is spike up the milligrams of the medication. So
Man, I'm gonna jump 2 verses. Is gonna be it, just because it's going to our points. All right, verse 10, 11. But thy sons, not the very teeth of venomous dragons, overcame, for thy mercy was ever by them and healed them. Verse 11. For they were pricked, that they shall remember thy words.
Going back to this system, it said the teeth of dragons, because that was going back at during time of Egypt. You see, now we're in spiritual Egypt, and we in this beast system. We under this dragon empire, man. All right. Mm-hmm. And it said, read it again.
But thy sons, not the very teeth of venomous dragons, overcame.
Not the very teeth of venomous dragons, man. The serpent.
yeah.
You see?
Who do you look upon? That brass serpent, which was what? Yahushua.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
For thy mercy was ever by them and healed them.
Mm-hmm.
For they were pricked, that they shall remember thy words.
Hey, they were pricked so we can remember thy words, man. This word pricked us. Hey, cause we were cut. We came to camp. We came to camp with a line, bacon still in the refrigerator. So when we heard this word, we was pricked. You see?
Yeah, bro.
And you think about that prick, it's like a cut, you know what I'm saying? A spiritual cut. You think about Ezekiel, the 9th chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the mark, you know what I'm saying, which is a sign of exemption.
You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual engraving.
That's what the bullshit in America was about. That was supposed to push us to look for us like an answer. That was to push us to the Most High.
I'm gonna finish it out. It says, "For they were pricked, that they should remember thy words, and were quickly saved, that not falling into deep forgetfulness."
Dementia, short term, long term. And once you lose that, hey, that's deep forgetfulness, man.
they might be continually mindful of thy goodness. That's it.
Man, it's heavy. I'm just gonna close it out with this. Sirach 10:10. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die. But the physician man Yahushua, what is that long disease? That spiritual dementia. And that was, what we talking about? 400 years?
Yeah.
That's a long disease. If you want to go back to 70 AD,
That's it.
you know, we're talking about what? 2,000 years damn near. So a long disease, man. That plague of the heart, that dementia of not knowing where we came from. Yahushua cut off that long disease, bridging the gap between the northern and the southern kingdom. You know, going back to that stick joining together, man.
He's also known as what? The Prince of Peace.
The Prince of Peace, man.
Breaking down the middle wall of partition between tribes.
Hey, man.
It showed the duality because it said the physician, you know, he cut it off a long disease, you know, and then he said he does a king today, you know, is not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of who, he saw Edom now.
Right.
And because what the scripture saying in Psalms, how he will set us in order. He said, he's going to reprove thee, but I'm going to set them in order in front of your eyes.
Right? I'm going to build up a kingdom right in front of you. Yeah. And therefore, I should raise up the tabernacle of David. You know?
Hey, all praises to
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kadosh, double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity, and Lord will you were edified.
Shalom.